I carried the tray of tea into the living room, like I always do. Knees polite, back curved the way a woman's spine learns to be if she spends a lifetime bending for others. The cups clinked together with a small, familiar music, and for a moment I let the scent of boiling water and bergamot steady me. The house smelled of cinnamon and damp coats and the small perfume my daughter likes to wear. It felt like a weekend at home should feel warm, loud, ordinary. My hands trembled a little when I reached for the teapot. Age does that to you sometimes. It hands you the tremor and calls it character. I told myself, character, as I stepped inside. They were talking, my children, in that low hum people use when they think the person they are speaking about does not understand. I should have expected it. They always speak about difficult things like estate planning behind my back, as if my ears are soft and my mind gone. My son's voice slid through the doorway. Maybe it's time we look at, assisted living, and someone else laughed like it was a good joke. I pretended I did not hear, because pretending has kept me breathing through worse storms than this. My granddaughter, 17 and already a whole new language in herself, had her eyes on a bright rectangle, thumbs scrolling with the speed of youth. She looked up when I came in, and the look on her face was the sharpest thing in the room. She rolled her eyes as if my slow step had annoyed her. The movement cut through me like a cold breeze. "Would you like some tea?" I asked, because manners are muscle memory. I set the tray down and offered the cup with both hands in the way I always have. Steady, careful, like holding something fragile and valuable. She said it loud enough for everyone to hear. "Why would I take anything from a nobody?" The room stopped breathing. For a long half-second, a silence spread that felt like a basin filled with cold water, and my cheeks were the fruit sinking into it. Then a son-in-law made a little snort that became a snicker. My daughter hid a smile behind her hand and pretended to cough so she could laugh without admitting she was laughing. My grandson, always ready with his little recorder, whispered with a pleased smirk, "This will go viral, Grandma being dramatic again." His phone light blinked at me like a tiny accusing eye. My face flushed as if someone had poured hot tea down my neck. I felt the years of my life compress into that 1 second. The mornings I woke before dawn, the hospital nights, the stitches on my heart no one knew about. Someone muttered, "She should be grateful we even visit," as if I were a burden taking up too many square feet in their busy lives. They joked about my hands, how they shook, how old age earthquakes were funny. Laughter wrapped itself around me like a thimble, and I forced a smile because that's what mothers and grandmothers do. We swallow storms so our children will not drown in them. But inside, something that had been tightly stitched for decades gave. It was not a great dramatic tearing. It was a small, precise crack, the kind that runs a long time before the wind finds it. I stepped away from the room with the tea tray still warm, unnoticed, and made my way to the kitchen, the room that used to be my whole world, my kingdom, the place I kept my secrets folded into tin boxes and recipe cards. Even there, I felt like a stranger. Through the crack between the kitchen and living room, I heard them imitate me. My granddaughter mimicking the slow, careful steps I took to avoid creaking floors, the family laughing louder at the mimicry than at any joke they had told in years. I stood at the sink with water running, watched a cup spin in dish soap, and whispered to myself so quietly I could barely hear my voice, "A nobody? After everything I gave?" The word nobody lay in my mouth like a stone. As I scrubbed the cup, a memory rose from somewhere beneath the regular daily memories. Another humiliation that tasted much the same. A different place, different faces, the same cheap laughter. Years ago, siblings I had trusted had taken what was rightfully mine and called me too simple to deserve it. I had swallowed that then because endurance was a virtue taught to women of my generation. I had promised myself I would never shout, never sue, never break the shape of family for the sake of pride. Yet that earlier theft lived in me like a dull pain. And tonight, the old pain rubbed against the new. Something lit there, small and steady, like a coal catching.